I would live if I was buying a home around the Twin Cities in 2025. Well, that's the list I'm going to give you today, and we're not going to be talking about the best and worst rankings, but instead I'm going to give you two options at every price point from $250,000 to $1 million plus, so that hopefully you can find a great place to live. If we haven't met, hey, my name's Joe Carmack. I'm a Twin Cities real estate agent. I'm also a father of four, and I'm from Colorado in this tiny little rural town. So naturally, my bias is going to be places that are family friendly and they're going to be nice and quiet and a little bit out of the suburbs, but we will also focus on Minneapolis in this video. They're just not going to be rankings, but we're going to give you every price point. Starting off at the $250,000 to $350,000 price point, let's talk about the Kingfield Neighborhood, and this will be the first on our list. The Kingfield Neighborhood is a great location for housing. It's going to be definitely one of the more affordable spots that I would consider reasonably safe, but ultimately I gotta leave crime and safety determinations up to you. So what I love about the Kingfield Neighborhood is gonna be, first of all, it is great for walkability and it's great for public transport. So if that's important to you, Kingfield can be a great option. It is also a great spot to get outdoors. You've got Lake Harriet just to the west side, you got the Greenway to the north, you've also got Minnehaha Parkway to the south. So I love all of those things, but what I think makes it a really special buy for 2025 is actually two different things that aren't actually in the Kingfield Neighborhood. First of all, you've got the old Kmart site to the north. Now, if you're not familiar with this, you can see here what it looks like. And if I'm honest, it's kind of the butthole of South Minneapolis, if I'm quite honest. So why are we talking about that with the Kingfield Neighborhood? It's actually because they finally come up with a complete redevelopment project for that old Kmart site. So obviously it's the hugest eyesore right now, but when it's all done, they're gonna have a ton of new apartments, they're gonna have some townhomes, they're gonna have a bunch of retail space and a grocery store. So what was the worst, ugliest eyesore of all of Minneapolis is gonna become a really beautiful part of that community, which should really help revitalize on the north side of Kingfield. The second thing that's happening is over in Uptown. Now, if you've been following anything going along there, and certainly if you're local, you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. Crime rates have gone up quite a bit, and there's been a ton of road construction happening on Hennepin and Lindale and Lake in those neighborhoods. So why does that really matter? It's because there's been a ton of restaurants and other businesses that have bounced. They've gone out of business simply because of the crime and because of the new construction. With all that road construction going on, customers can't get to the stores, and so they're going out of business left and right. So that's all a bunch of negatives. Why are we talking about for the Kingfield Neighborhood? First of all, crime rates have come down considerably in this area and things are really improving. The second thing is we're also seeing that road construction, which is wrapping up, which should stop hurting those businesses. Obviously the ones that have left are gone. However, once that is done, it's going to leave over a lot of cheap real estate afterwards. And so I think that's going to be prime real estate for new restaurants coming into town, new businesses, and it could really revitalize that whole area. So obviously when those come in, then you're going to get new storefronts. We're going to have new streets, new lighting, a lot of new opportunities that's in that area. And so what was an amazing, vibrant little part of Minneapolis is going to come back out of a kind of dark era that it's going through right now. So back to the Kingfield Neighborhood that we're talking about. At $250,000 to $350,000, I think it's gonna be a great entry-level price point to buy in at. And then as these other revitalization things start happening, I think that's gonna create a lot of demand next door. Their sale prices will go up. That will bring the Kingfield sale prices up. So now could be a great opportunity to get in when prices are low and then have some easy equity build over the next 5 to 10 years. But if you're trying to buy at an entry-level price point and you're looking for something a little more rural and less in the city, consider Ramsey, Minnesota. Now, this is a suburb that I've really liked, and in a way, it itself doesn't have a lot going on in the city of Ramsey. Now, there are a lot of great parks, and it is close to the river, so there's plenty of outdoor opportunities, but what I really like about Ramsey is kind of the opposite of everything in Minneapolis. Minneapolis has very small lots, tight neighborhoods, very walkable. Ramsey, on the other hand, is the exact opposite. It's got large lots, it's gonna be not walkable at all, but it's gonna have a lot of peace, a lot of quiet, it's a much slower pace of life. So if that's what you're looking for and you need it at a pretty entry-level price point, consider Ramsey. Third on our list is going to be moving up into the $350,000 to $500,000 price bracket, and that's going to be St. Anthony, Minnesota. Now, St. Anthony in particular, I think is a great opportunity. This is going to capitalize on the huge demand of Northeast Minneapolis, which is technically a different neighborhood for the locals that didn't know. Northeast is right next door, very high demand, and then you've got St. Anthony right next door, which actually is at a lower price point, but you've essentially got all of the same things that people love. You've got even more character and charm, I think, on the homes. You've got boulevarded streets, you've got really mature trees. I think it's a beautiful, fantastic, older neighborhood that's still at a great price point. Also, as things, sell out with Northeast and that demand is going to spill over, I think that could be another opportunity for home values to be going up if you can get it at a lower price point now. Some things that people like about St. Anthony in particular is that it is close to downtown Minneapolis without really being in the downtown, so you're still in a fairly urban environment without the total, noise and hustle and bustle of the downtown area. So you're just outside of that quick proximity to get back in, so you got quick access to all the coffee shops and restaurants and things that people like, such as in the North Loop, but you're going to be a little bit further removed. And then flipping to the other side of Minneapolis is the fourth on our list, and that's going to be St. Louis Park. This is still in that $350,000 to $500,000 price bracket. St. Louis Park will have definitely more appeal if you can get up into about the $600,000 price point, but even under $500,000, you're going to have a lot of great options. What I don't honestly love about St. Louis Park is actually the homes, though. So if I'm going to give it to you straight, the homes in St. Louis Park in this price bracket are going to be relatively small and always older. So in this area, I just looked, and I think there's about 43 homes between $350,000 and $500,000, and actually only average about 1,800 square feet finished. So it is a pretty small house. If you're somebody like me, you've got a bunch of kids, it may not be a good fit. However, if you are looking for some of that close proximity to things, but like St. Anthony, you're trying to be a little bit further out of the city, this one's even a little bit more removed off to the west side. So if the homes are small, what do we like about it? Personally, I love all the things that are coming up new in that area, specifically in the shops of West End. If you haven't been in that area for a while, it is absolutely booming. You've got new restaurants, you've got new retail space. Obviously, there's a lot of apartments and hotels and that kind of thing, but the whole area is really kind of coming to life, and I really like that. So if you're looking for that type of thing and you don't need a larger home, this could be a great opportunity to stay close to the city and have a low price point. They are also doing a lot of revitalization on the Excelsior Boulevard side, on the south end, and even on the southwest side. You've got different options going on. One thing to be aware of, though, is I did see a news article here not too long ago that the Knollwood Mall, I believe, just sold, and some of those businesses may be going out of business, like the Kohl's. So keep an eye on those types of things, but there's definitely pockets to hit for St. Louis Park, which a lot of people are going to love for that walkability, access to retail. One drawback to St. Louis Park, though, to be aware of is I don't think there's really a lot of green space in the city itself. Technically, you've got a little bit up to the northwest side of the city, but it's very minimal. It's right next to the highways, and I wouldn't consider it very great. So if outdoor space is important to you, that's not going to check the boxes. If retail is and affordability is, St. Louis Park is great. Number 5 on our list is Oak Grove, Minnesota, and we're going to jump up a price bracket again here as well to kind of that $500,000 to $600,000 price range. Now, what do I love about Oak Grove? In a way, it kind of reminds me of back home in Colorado. It's much more rural. You're on the far north side of the Twin Cities, and so this isn't going to be for somebody who's looking to commute into one of the downtowns for work. This is for somebody that wants the exact opposite. If you're looking for more space, you're looking for land, you really appreciate mature trees, this is a fantastic place to be. As the name would imply, there's a ton of oak trees. It's a ton of mature, really rural areas. You are going to have some farmland, but this can be a great spot if you're looking to build, perhaps custom build, or you're just looking for more land. Most of the lots here that I see are usually about an acre or so they're not necessarily going to be like huge acreage lands, but it's going to be much bigger than a quarter-acre city lot. If we flip to the other side of the North Metro, you're going to have Lino Lakes, which is number 6 on our list. This is going to be in that same price bracket of $500,000 to $600,000. This is going to be a great option if you're okay with less land, but you're looking for a little bit slower pace of life, and if outdoor areas are really important to you. Lino Lakes has got the entire Rice Creek Park Reserve area, so there is a ton of outdoor opportunity in Lino Lakes. So if that's important to you and you're hoping to be close to the downtowns, Lino is going to be a great option. Lino Lakes is on the North Metro, just directly between Minneapolis and St Paul, essentially, and so this is going to have quick access if you are commuting into the cities, but also if you're not a city person and you're just trying to stay out in the suburbs, this is a relatively inexpensive place. Lino Lakes can be a great place for commuting, as it is directly north of both Minneapolis and St Paul, so you're going to have a pretty quick drive into the metro. You've also got a major park and ride over across 35W in Blaine, so that can give you some public transit options as well. So Lino is going to be great for people that are looking for some nature, some outdoor, some quieter pace of life, but they do need access to Minneapolis, St Paul. Moving up a bracket into the $600,000 to $800,000 price range, let's talk about Eden Prairie, Minnesota. Now, honestly, this is one of my favorite suburbs that I really haven't given a lot of love on recently. So if you want to see a full neighborhood tour of Eden Prairie or pretty much any of these suburbs, you can go to the channel, look for the playlist for neighborhood tours. So what do we like about Eden Prairie? Eden Prairie is going to be a higher price point. So I put this one in the $600,000 to $800,000 category. There's going to be a pretty wide range. You can definitely be $1 million plus in Eden Prairie. But there are actually some surprisingly affordable options if $600,000 is within your budget. And And Eden Prairie is going to be one of the highest rated school districts in the metro. So you've got Wayzata, Minnetonka, and Eden Prairie are generally the top 3 school districts. Eden Prairie is going to give you a little bit more of the suburban and laid-back sprawling type of vibe compared to some of the other areas. But this is also going to be a great spot if you're looking for a little bit of new construction, you're looking for older, you can get townhomes that are even less expensive. And this is going to be a great, like, truly suburban location. You've got the Eden Prairie Mall, so you've got plenty of big box store types of things, but it's not going to be walkable. You're not going to have a lot of mom and pops that you're just walking down the street to. So this is going to be that type of lifestyle. Definitely more suburban. You do have options commuting into Minneapolis. Not so great for St. Paul since it's on the opposite side of the metro, but you've got Southwest Transit bus and Metro Transit lines that are going through there. Don't ask me what's going on with the light rail, because frankly, I don't know if anybody really knows, but eventually the light rail line will also connect to Eden Prairie and then into Minneapolis. So that could be an option in the future. 8th on my list is going to be Lake Elmo. This is similar if you're looking for something like what I was describing in Oak Grove or Lino Lakes. You really appreciate nature and you really appreciate the larger lots of perhaps Oak Grove. Lake Elmo is going to be a fantastic spot. This is one area that is going to be much more sprawling, much more spread out. Maybe not necessarily so many farmlands, but rolling hills and just dispersed lots. There's going to be a lot of neighborhoods in Lake Elmo that I really like that are kind of hidden little gems that are not very well known. They're not real prominent or popular, but they're fantastic locations with some really cool homes in that area. Now, this is going to be a little bit of an upper bracket at the $600 to $800 range, but for $600 to $800 in Lake Elmo, you can get a pretty solid home. You may not be getting into a lot of new construction until you're really into the $800,000 to $900,000 range, but most of this area is still going to be relatively new within the last maybe 30, 40 years or so. There will be older homes that are at a more affordable price point, but then you can also get into the upper brackets really well. So I like Lino because it is still going to be accessible. This is going to be for folks that are on the St. Paul eastern side of the metro. So if that's important to you, maybe you're commuting into St. Paul, or even if you're looking to get out to the Wisconsin side for whatever reason, Lake Elmo can be a really nice hidden gem. Now, saving the best 2 for last, in my opinion, these are of course going to be the $800 plus price bracket. So if you can afford it, these are a couple of communities that I absolutely love. First, we've got Corcoran, Minnesota. Now, this is one little spot when back in the day I was working for a general contractor. Whenever we got sent to Corcoran, it was going to be a good day because this is rambling, sprawling hills, similar to Lake Elmo like I just described, but maybe even a little bit further out of the metro. If you're not familiar with this location, you go over to Maple Grove on the west side, and then you keep going past there. It's on the backside of Maple Grove, so you still have plenty of good access to shops and restaurants, things like that, but it's suburban. I mean, it kind of feels out there. There's a lot of beautiful, just rambling hill, countryside vibe, and it's just a very, very tranquil place to live. The price point here is definitely going to be higher. I would say $800,000 is a pretty good starting point for Corcoran. You're going to find a lot of new construction here, but it's not going to be production builds for the most part. This is going to be kind of little small one-off custom neighborhoods. You're going to find a little bit higher end builders, very high quality, and definitely a more unique, interesting feel than just cookie cutter production builds. And then the last on our list is Credit River. Now, this is going to have pretty much all the things I just described for Corcoran, which is on the northwest side, except for Credit River is going to be very far south to the South Metro, kind of between Lakeville and Prairie Lake. So if you've got the budget and you can afford it, and you're looking for a really more rural, spread out, suburban type of feel, Credit River can be a fantastic option. So there you go. There's 10 options for you if you're thinking about buying a home around the Twin Cities. My name is Joe Carmick. If we haven't met, I serve all different price points and all around the Twin Cities, as you can probably tell. So make sure you go find the channel's playlist for neighborhood tours. You can watch that one next. I've also got real estate market updates for the Twin Cities market that come out every single month. And just let me know how I can help you. You'll find all my information in the description down below, and I'll catch you next time.